She's at the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, where, as mentioned, that budget is expected to be delivered. Gauteng, by the way, is not the only province that is going to, I suppose, find out what the kitty is looking like. The province of KwaZulu-Natal and Limpopo will also today be, I suppose, learning just how much the rands and cents can stretch amid those financial constraints. Let's try again to touch base with Naledi Ngcobo, live to us now from the Gauteng Provincial Legislature. And there's so much to be considered, Naledi, when it comes to how the Gauteng province balances the books, so to speak.
Oh, good morning, Ayanda. Of course, like any other budget, the emphasis is always to balance financial needs and to balance, of course, that spending as well as debt, while also trying to make sure that service delivery requirements are fulfilled by the province. But what we hear is that, the budget and the finances of the province are seeing some constraints due to a number of factors. The slow growth that we've seen in the economy is playing its role, and the high cost of living and the role that the provincial government feels like it needs to fulfill and come in to sort of augment and ease the burden on consumers as a whole. But we are hearing that the MEC is looking, and the province as a whole is looking into collaborating more with the private sector to fill some of those financial needs that residents of Gauteng so need. So there certainly has been, some emphasis in terms of strengthening PPPs. We understand that this has been a successful model that was used, that has been, beneficial in the Gauteng actually acquiring the Gautrain service. And also what we understand is that even with the scholar transport initiatives, there's going to be PPPs there. But joining me currently is an independent fiscal policy analyst, Mr. Shiliboy Mutiba. He's going to tell us a little bit more about how important it is to see that collaboration in terms of private sector and public sector working together in fulfilling some of the requirements as far as service delivery is concerned.
Thank you so much for having me. I mean, without a doubt, with a limited or constrained budget, you would expect the provincial government to make environment conducive in order to attract the private sector, which aligns exactly with what national government is actually trying to ease the participation of a private sector to participate in the public projects.
All right. And in terms of the scholar transport, this is a contentious issue in the province. There is, an expectation from residents of the province to ensure, for government or the provincial government to ensure that they are putting in a hand in some sort of way. How important is it, do you think, that the province plays a role in terms of intervening in the space?
It has to play a role, and I think an earlier point is to the fact that we've got a constrained budget, and this is also a burning issue that I expect that the public, the residents expect the MEC to allude to how they're going to deal with the challenges around scholar transport initiatives. But I expect him to outline on how he's going to actually invite the private sector to actually participate there, mainly because the province is experiencing a limited budget.
Right. And obviously there is the issue of the Gautrain that's also coming in as an asset of the province. How important has that been? And what do you think we can expect going forward? And what would be required in terms of resource allocation for that?
Look, Gautrain has been a success story without a doubt. I mean, just to remind the viewers, I mean, we spend roughly around 20 billion the cost of that, and currently it's estimated to be sitting at around just over 50 billion. That's a quite significant growth in terms of value created without ignoring the job creation over the years. As you'll know, that is coming to an end and is going to be transferred to the provincial government. We expect more insights on how this is going to pan out, particularly that there was a talk on that there's conversations with the person who's going to take over. So we expect more details around that, but also to outline some of the lessons learned from this successful model. How do we replicate that in other public-private partnerships, such as scholar transport?
All right, thank you so much for your time. That was Mr. Shiliboy Mutiba, who is an independent fiscal policy expert. We will be expecting MEC for Finance and Economic Development, Mr. Lebogang Maile, to make his presentation and present the 2026-27 budget here at the Gauteng Provincial Legislature later on around 10 o'clock. But obviously, we will also be looking at some of the other priorities, particularly when it comes to the issues around water and how much funding and resources have been allocated towards improving infrastructure in that regard. But we'll certainly be keeping you updated throughout the day on these developments.
We look forward to it. Naledi Ngcobo is our reporter live to us from the Gauteng Provincial Legislature in Gauteng, in Johannesburg, I beg your pardon. Thanks very much indeed.